Hello, I am your host Chloe Brewster and welcome to The Creative Comeback, a love affair with the arts in podcast form. I talk to creators from all different walks of life, discussing the ups and downs of being a creative in modern society, delving into the nitty-gritty of the arts industries. Today on The Creative Comeback, I chatted to Cameron MacDonald. Cameron was the incredible creative responsible for the viral video And We Will Come Back Home. This video immersed the world and quickly became a voice for the arts industry. Today we discussed the behind the scenes of this viral video.
So my first question is, why did you choose dance and choreography as a career?
It's kind of a funny one because when I started, obviously I loved it and I still love it now. But that was like a thing that I didn't think was a career, and I thought it was just a hobby and you do that for fun and you meet friends doing it. And then I didn't want to do it when I left school. I was kind of confused of what I wanted to do. I was never very smart, so I was struggled, and I just knew that I relied on what I classed as a hobby is dancing a lot. So yes, when I left school, I kind of went and did a BTEC, I think it was, BTEC in Performing Arts, and I enjoyed it, but I just knew it wasn't for me, I just knew that I needed to get out and go and do it straight away. So then it wasn't until the principal of my dance school was like, come on, right, I'm taking you to a musical theatre college that's professionally training. So then I went, and that's when I just found my passion and love for it again, and knew that it was a career and thought I could make a career out of it. And then that was as a performer, because I've always loved choreography. I've always looked up to my dance teachers and the guest teachers that we had, and it was something I knew I wanted to do, but just didn't know when or how or why I wanted to do it. So I knew in college, when we had like little projects, I remember in first year we had a project, like a choreography project, and I felt like I was very comfortable with it. I know it wasn't my style, even though I didn't know what my style was back then. I just knew that I felt comfortable doing it because I do believe I have a creative mind for choreography and performing and etc. In our industry, my head can go stupid sometimes. It goes off in different paths, and I love that. And I think that's what I realized, that like I do find myself quite creative. And that's how I found myself choreographing through college and then into my professional career as a performer. When I was dance captain, or I was an assistant, or we had freestyle, I would love it. And then finding characters and things. So yeah, I just think it all kind of happened with knowing it was there in me. And then finding myself through my journeys and as a performer and going into a choreographer. So yeah, that's why I do it, because I like the way that it all just happened spontaneously, kind of, yeah. Because it was never a passion at first. It was a hobby. So turning it into a passion, and that's why I did it, because it was what I wanted to do in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you mean, because when I first started doing like fashiony stuff, I started on the whole like designing and creating side of things, and was like, yeah, I don't mind it, but I'm just like, it's just not, just couldn't put my finger on why it wasn't right. And like, I always go into shops and be like, just look around and go, that would go with that and that would go with that, and people always just say, oh, you have a really good eye for like picking things that will go together. And then I just sort of ended up randomly going, I want to go to uni like 2 weeks before the deadline, and just picked a course and ended up realizing that actually this was exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm a bit like you, just sort of stumbled into it in a good way, and then like, oh, this is it.
And you find your feet then, and it's nice that, like, I'm not spiritual or whatnot, but like I always feel like everything happens for a reason. And like you said, like it happened so last minute for you, like the 2 weeks before the deadline, but something was telling you that you needed to do it. and like you had the eye for it, and you have the creativity and the passion for it, so you did it. But it's just lovely, and it's so nice to hear that.
Exactly, and it's like I feel like the best things come spontaneously as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So where do you get your inspiration from when you're creating like dances and things like that? Because I would not know where to start.
Good question. Really, I do focus on, so when I listen to a soundtrack or I'm given a script, I really, really delve into the story. So I follow the story, and then when we all know how cheesy musicals are, like one minute we're acting very seriously and then we burst into song and dance. And then I, as a choreographer, really, really follow that story, and I try and keep it true to what the path of that, where the story is, and so everyone can follow it. So there's no point where people are eye rolling going, oh, here's a song and dance. I try to keep it quite character. So I do focus my choreography on character and like story driven work. So yeah, so once, especially like I always use this as a reference for a musical called Grease. I just find Grease so uplifting, energetic. It's so teenager. So whoever choreographs that musical, I as a choreographer would expect it to be so dorky, and you find like the teenagers in everyone's characters throughout the show. I don't know, it's really hard to describe. But breaking it down, yeah, I really work off character and the story. So whether it be, I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm very good at. Is it passion projects? No, it's not. It's like contemporary stories like that. Like I find hard for myself to choreograph a story. It's really hard. I'm trying to explain it because that's what I do as in musical theatre. I tell the story through dance. However, if that was contemporary, like there's so much more emotion and a different side of creativity that I feel like I struggle with creating it through that. So musical wise, I really listen to the lyrics and the beats of the orchestra and the music to work on my choreography. If that made any sense, because I feel like I've just waffled on and tried to get myself through that.
No, I definitely know what you mean. So I've seen your "And We Will Come Back Home" video. Did you want to tell me a little bit about it? Your inspiration?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you for watching. So that this video was for was behind the Fatima ballerina poster or campaign that used to be out, that was brought up when we were in lockdown, which our industry was struggling, is absolutely struggling right now. Where I know yesterday we were all posting that it's been a whole year since the theatres closed. We went dark, and this was the whole reason behind it. That's what inspired me, really. So my creativity, my choreography, my story was for Save the Arts, and to give an uplifting look on the situation. When I didn't know when I was going to bring it out, I didn't know. I remember when I was thinking about it, I was just on the way to the gym. From Now On came on, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this song. Boom, the creativity started happening. Straight away I got on the phone to a few friends, voice noted them on WhatsApp, and was like, I have an idea, what do you think? They were like, yes, you should do this, you can try this. And I was like, okay, well, I've got this, I've got that, story, this. Met with a few friends, walked around London, found the pathway that we were going to use. And then I just really, really trusted and relied on my friends to help me out. For me, that was a project as well, for my choreography reel, because I'd done things in class, and I'd filmed things, and I don't think it was really selling me as much. and I hadn't really worked professionally with a videographer, so I really wanted to try that. So again, it selfishly, that was for me, but this project was for everyone. The stories was for everyone. The uplifting spirit was for everyone. Behind the scenes was for me. I wanted to create something, whether it was going to be on the lines of Save the Arts, it might not have been, but I was already planning on creating something anyways. And I was trying to do it in a safe way through lockdown. But the Save the Arts was so strong and powerful for all of us. I thought I can send a message out there with using my choreography. And then it ended up being a viral sensation, which I've just got goosebumps because it's so funny because how far that video's gone was never I never thought ever that it was ever going to go that far. I really, really thought it was just going to stay on my choreography page, on my Facebook, where I share it. A few friends see it. Oh, that's nice. Oh, well, that's Cameron's work. Yeah. It was sent to my agent. It was sent to obviously friends and family, but never did I ever think it was going to reach global and on the news. The amount of messages I got, geez, like I am so overwhelmed and so grateful and thankful that at least I wasn't the bit about inspiring, but it gave someone hope. Though everyone who loves the theatre, or those who love the theatre, should I say, or film, or just our industry as a whole, our performing arts industry, our arts industry, it was just hope. Even though I couldn't delve into every section or every genre of the arts industry, that was just my expression of it. So, and even though I really wanted to, time, money, space, social distancing, coronavirus, lockdown, everything like that, all had its moments in there. So yeah, it was a passion project that turned into a viral, global, online sensation. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and at the time, like when you first sort of shared it, and it's so weird, like to hear the backstory and just how you just randomly like heard the song and you're like, yes, this is it. Because when you watch the video, like you think that someone sat there for months and months and months and gone, what song's going to work with this, like planned it out. And it's just crazy because it all fitted, like the words of the song fitted exactly what you were trying to say as well. And I just remember watching it and being like, oh my god, like I've never seen anything like this. And yeah, like literally all of my friends that are in the creative arts industry are just sharing it, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
It was meant to, and you're so right. Those lyrics are the ones that actually spoke to me. And we will come back home, because it's true. Like I just got goosebumps again because I know it's killing me. It is so true. Like again, like we were saying before, the reason why I started and the reason why I do this is because I'm passionate about it. So those lyrics saying "and we will come back home" just literally just jumped in my head straight away and was like, those are your powerful lyrics, and we will come back home, because we will. And that is, the song just speaks for itself. I put the theatres on there, but the lyrics are telling us that that's hope.
Yeah,
like that's the hope and the feeling that we need to feel, and the guidance of we're going to come back home, we just don't know when. That's the negativity of it, that we just don't know when, but we will. This can't last forever, and it's not. We're coming out of it. But yeah, that was really, if those lyrics didn't speak to me, I don't think I would have found the right song.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's like, because obviously everyone's been like really worried about the arts and things like that, I think it just showed that it is going to bounce back. Like the second we can do these things again, it's going to bounce right back. Like I think everyone's realized how much they miss it now that it's been taken away. At the time it's taken for granted, and now everyone's like, oh my god, just seeing a video like that just reminds you, like even if you don't go very often, like I don't go to the theatre very often, but it just makes me feel like nostalgic for the times when I have been, and I just think, oh, like I can't wait to go again and be normal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think it's probably about, I think it's this weekend actually, or maybe last weekend. I think it was last weekend last year. was the last time I got to see a show. I knew straight away, I was like, I feel like something's going to happen. And I luckily had 2 days off. And I was like, okay, right, I'm going to see what I can find. And I went on Tix Today or Today Tix, that the app, and I found Prince of Egypt, and I found 9 to 5, and I booked them straight away. I was like, it's fine, I'll just pay for it and I'll make my money elsewhere. So I don't care. I just wanted to go and see theatre, and luckily I did, because 2 fantastic productions gave me that uplift, ready to go back to work. And the next minute we got sent home that week. But it's still like, it's so nice. It fills you with. It's just so nice to go to the theatre. It's like an escape.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like you are supported as a creative mentally and financially, or do you feel like especially during this time, like the government obviously haven't really spent a lot of funding towards people in the arts, like do you feel supported or just completely left to your own devices?
Unfortunately, pretty left out. And we're hearing and seeing it daily. Like, I think as performers, we're kind of, it's not like we're used to it, but we know how to deal with it when in between jobs. So say like we come from one show and we go to the next. We don't know when that next. Some people are fantastically lucky and they can jump show to show. Some others, we don't know when that next gig's going to be. So then we apply for restaurants, we apply for call centres, supermarkets, etc., etc. So we know how to do that and how to deal with it for the time being. But then knowing our industry was never there to go back to in that time. And I was so lucky. I managed to get a job at a supermarket, and I was so grateful because I knew I had an income coming in. Also, like, I knew at the time it was a scary place, and knowing that I was giving back a little, like doing my part. I was an online shopper, so I was doing my part, knowing that I was giving back to who was vulnerable and couldn't come in. So that was a nice feeling, even though it was tough. That mentally, knowing that there was just no support. Like I tried to apply for grants, I applied for other things that were there to support us, should I say? No luck. I've had no luck, but then I can't complain because I've been very, very lucky to be in a place where I had a job. So that wasn't my worry, but to see friends really, really struggle and to hear people struggle mentally, there was no support, and to see them go through it. And when I unfortunately stopped working at the supermarket, to see myself struggle and be at a low point, I'm sure we all went through it, was tough. And knowing that there was no real support there I feel like I always try and not look at it as a selfish approach, but we do this career because there's a platform for it. Like, we wouldn't, I think it was, I went to a protest, or a silent protest, should I say, and we bring in 1.28 billion, I think it was. Yeah. So if we're not that important, you've lost that. And that was the whole campaign. You've just lost 1.28 billion to tell me why we're not important and why we don't deserve some help. So I don't know. I feel like it can go around in so many opinions and whatnot. But yeah, I just don't think there was enough at all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was talking to someone yesterday and we were saying they had all of these grants and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, there was always something that stopped you from qualifying for it. Like, whether you hadn't been self-employed long enough or you didn't have an area, like there was always something to just stop that extra bit of funding. And it's like, why do you not want to help people out? They just seem to always put a barrier up to stop people. And like you said, like, we're responsible for so much, like tourism and money. And it's just like, as an industry, they're just so quick to just dismiss us. And I think that is shown as well through like the underfunding in schools, because obviously a lot of the schools have dropped like music, art, dance because they don't have the facilities and the equipment to teach it anymore. I just think, God, why are they so intent on like just disregarding us as a whole?
I know, it's really disheartening. Yet we put everything. I feel like we really put everything into our industry, whether it's standing on stage making people feel great, yourself as someone who does fashion and designer, like you make someone feel good in the clothes that they wear, and or whatever you create. An artist, like you look at a picture that goes up on the wall, and that's a piece in your house or your home or wherever where you placed it that makes you feel good. I don't know. It's a you go around in circles, but yeah, it's great. It's frustrating. It really is.
Definitely. And that being said, do you feel like in moments like that you're pressured to still be creative even though you don't have the mentality and you don't have that sort of passion inside of you? Do you feel like there's a pressure from like all your surrounding environment to just always be this creative person, never get a break?
Yeah, I'm yes and no. I do, because especially after the video for myself, I was like, it's not that I didn't, it's not a thing to top, it was a thing to still showcase myself and show that, as again, like I'm still a creative person, what can I do? And when we had the chance to get out and about a bit, and we had time to do classes and things, I managed to put on a few classes and create little projects. Remember over Christmas I created like a little at home Christmas project. So yeah, there is that pressure. Just for, I think it's not for anyone else, it's for myself, to make sure that I don't lose it. And yeah, that was the whole reason behind why I kept going. Like I said, it was out of, it was just the flow of the process. I feel like if I stop, yeah, I have time to think, and I still, or my brain just carries on anyways. Sometimes it just doesn't stop. But yeah, there is that pressure on myself, and for everyone else, I don't know. It's hard to tell whether they feel that pressure. Probably because I feel like we've all come to a standstill, and normally, as a human being, we are always on the go.
Yeah.
So this is for everyone. I think once you stop, you question everything, right? Well, this is what I feel. Well, I feel like that anyways. I feel like you question, especially when we've been in all day. You're like, I haven't done anything today. What am I missing? What have I not done? Have I forgotten to call someone? I don't know. There's lots of the things you really, you question yourself. So yeah, I feel like there is a bit of a pressure now that I've spoken about it. I've never really thought about that, but yeah.
Definitely. I think, like you said, it's the overthinking. It's like you said, you've been sat in all day and you've gone, I really should be doing something right now. I should be doing something creative. Why am I not doing it? And then you overthink it to a point where you can't be creative because you just overthought everything.
So true. And you know, well, how am I going to be creative? And you put yourself in a little mind game where you're like, well, like if I've only got a square box room here to create, and there's no point. Who's going to see it? Why am I creating? And it's stupid.
Endless time negativity.
Yeah, and I think as well, like that plays on people's mental health, because then that really drives people down, and I feel like we've seen a lot of that this or last year and in the start of this year, and I really give so much pride and what's the word, love to all our industry who've gone through this, because it's been hard. And I know there's other industries out there who would have suffered as well, but because we're in this industry, we have to be passionate and we have to stay strong about it and support ourselves. So for those in our industry that have gone through this, give yourself a frigging pat on the back, because what we've been through is traumatic, like really traumatic.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like the expectations that after it's finished, then you're supposed to go back to normal. Like you're supposed to have like theatre productions that are like ready to go. Like I think people are just expecting it's just going to happen overnight. Like you're going to wake up and
I agree. Yeah, and it's not. It's going to take a while still for it to get back up.
yeah, definitely. So I've got a bit of a bigger question here.
Yeah.
And it's, what do you think the world would be like without the arts in it?
The most boringest place, dull. There'll be literally. I feel like there'll be no life if people don't listen to music, podcasts, see colours, fashion. There's art everywhere. Like just visually, it's nothing. The world is nothing. Art is everywhere, from just whistling down the street to drawing a smiley face to make someone feel happy on a piece of paper, like sending a note, you know what I mean, and just writing a message. Like just somewhere in our lives there is art. Like you can't dismiss it. So really, the world will be it won't be here.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like literally everything that you look at has been designed by someone, whether it's like your patio in your garden or like your microwave, like literally everything, someone's designed it and they've gone,
Yeah.
It's gonna look like this because I want it to look like this. And I just think if you take all of that away, like what is there that's going to be left? You won't have clothes, because even someone's designed like a black hoodie, like there'd be nothing left to sort of look at. I suppose I think it'd be really boring.
Yeah, I agree. There's literally no life without it.
No, definitely not. So in terms of like developing your career, what's been best for you? Social media or like mentors, that kind of thing? Like what has been the most important piece of developing your career?
As you spoke then about mentors, absolutely. I could not thank the people who have nurtured me on the way. So if it wasn't for when I first ever started, my parents, my dad pushing me in, not pushing me, that's a lie, pushing the director and being like, how can my son audition? He loves it, to getting into a pantomime, for then the dance school who was part of the pantomime taking me under their wing, to then being scouted at competitions by another lady who ran shows in the local area, who then created a performing arts academy, who then took me under her wing, and then is the one who nurtured me on my way into professional musical theatre college. And then after being taken from musical theatre, being led from musical theatre college, it was for my commercial teacher, who really took me under his wing, who when I was in first year put me in one of his pieces. That like really was a big thing, because no first year got to get put in one of his pieces. So then finding trust and using him as someone to be like, well, he believes in me, so I'm gonna really improve myself and trust myself and believe in myself. So then being his dance captain to his assistant, to being a really good friend of his now, because I was thinking about this. Is so funny, because I was thinking about this today doing my workout. I was about to give up, and I was like, would you have gave up in college if Stuart was literally stood in front of you? No, you wouldn't have. To keep going. Like, it's that mentality that I still have today from the mentors.
Yeah.
And when I think of creative things, I think back to Emma, my principal, who was at the Performing Arts Academy back at home, of the way that she creates these shows. And I think she's brought me on this path, and I still go back and teach, and I'm still one of their guest teachers. And I just love working with her, because she has such a creative mind, and we feed off each other so well. And then regarding like performing and choreography, I did rely on social media, because that's where I started. So even though technically I didn't. I started when I was performing, but like working as assistant dance captain, etc. But going into choreography, I made a social media account. I made an Instagram account that I thought, well, I'll upload my stuff on here for people to see, and maybe it'll be of interest to people. So I had like clips of me choreographing small sections of shows or like numbers, and then going into colleges. So I'd put them up there, and then it wasn't until I managed to get my choreography agent, who I have right now, and then he nurtured me some more. So then again, a mentor, someone that I needed to take me on this path, who was like, okay, you'll need this. We're going to push for this. So let's try this. And he was the one who, he was like, maybe you should think of creating something that's a little bit out of the box. So this is where the Save the Arts video came from. Again, if it wasn't for him setting up meetings with himself and other choreographers and directors, it then led me on the path of the video. And then social media now for me is where I promote myself. I'm still working on my website, but in lockdown, there's nowhere else to go except social media, because everyone's on there. If it's from doing classes, if it is for promoting yourself, I'm nowhere near an influencer, but I put myself on there because that's where I feel like most people are promoting themselves at this time, until we can get back out there, when we can write to producers, directors, and showcase ourselves and work with other creatives and performers in our industry anyway. So yes, that's when that's what I use now, but I really like to step away from social media, because sometimes it can also give you a bad name. So then I want to do this where I can meet, well, obviously not, if I can meet someone online and via Zoom or Skype, etc., or I can go for coffee with someone and meet them, because I'm quite a personable person anyways. I like to get involved and make sure that we meet and someone can feel my personality, and we can feed off each other that way and make sure that we can work together. So yeah, that's, at the moment, that's how it's all going.
Definitely. So sort of when you're looking for opportunities to develop your career, how do you do that? Like, where do you look? Do you get, like, are you in groups that has opportunities posted, or do you just have to scour the internet and the world for them?
It's a little bit of both, actually. Like I said at the start, I didn't know where to start. It wasn't for me taking the chance and sending some, what I believe was really not great choreography or like a show reel to my agent, being like, this is my stuff. Do you believe in me? Do you trust in me? Can we meet? And we did. And thankfully, I'm so grateful to have him as my agent at the moment, because we're doing such great things. But yeah, at the start, I was looking online. There's like groups, like social media groups that are on for our industry online that we can delve into, that people post. I guess research was a big one. Like I was doing as much research as possible. But it is really, really, I find it really hard, and I still find it really hard now, just searching. And I hope it doesn't become a real challenge. I'd hope that it would get easier after lockdown. But right now, yeah, it's tough. Because there's not much going. There's no one really advertising much because there's nothing happening. Yeah. But yeah, I really hope that changes and it becomes a lot easier.
Definitely. I hope that, like, once things open up, everyone's like, let's just do everything that we can possibly do and just get everyone involved in one way or another.
Yeah, I agree.
So what are your dreams for the next 5 years in terms of your career?
Oh, the dreams. I think you got a dog?
It's my next door neighbour's dog, because my
I was like, oh, you can let the dog in if you like. So my dreams really is for me to have my choreography out there, whether it be film, TV, theatres, international if it's on events. Yeah, I just want people to enjoy it and just feel a part of it. Like I've always said that I'd love for my choreography to be like an iconic dance move, or you get your everyone knows Grease Lightning or the Dirty Dancing lift and things like that. So that has always been a dream of mine, for it to become iconic, or a number be iconic, etc. So yeah, that's my goals and with it all. But I would just like to my choreography to make people feel great and enjoy it, and make people feel comfortable when watching it. And like I said, it's story driven, so as long as they've followed the story through the choreography, then I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% know what you mean. Like, you just want to be remembered for something that cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I love. Like, I'm just like, I want to be part of something that everyone's like, oh my god, that's iconic. The dream.
I'm gonna let my cat in because the
That's
dog
okay.
is barking at my cat.
Oh, is that really? Yeah, go ahead.
And he's like knocking at the window. So he's like stood there knocking at the window at me. Go on then.
Oh.
He's a little fatty.
What's he called?
Name's Winston, but I like
Winston. Winnie.
He's probably gonna start crying in a minute, but it's all right.
Okay.
So what is your opinion on the Rethink campaign? The Rethink, Retrain sort of campaign?
Stupid, pathetic, bold words. Get rid. It's stupid. It's insulting, actually. Yeah, sometimes it just baffles my head why you think that's acceptable to put out there.
Yeah.
Still wanting to, yeah, and I'm glad someone brought it up, because it just shows again how much, I guess, disrespected our industry is and how put to the back it is. So yeah, awful. Get rid.
Yeah, definitely. And we were saying yesterday, surely it must have had to have gone through so many different people. Like, so many different people would have had to have approved it. Why did someone along the line not go, maybe this isn't a good idea? Like, how did everybody just think, yeah, this is great, like, let's just...
It's offensive.
Yeah, exactly.
To our industry. Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
And I think, if anything, they just made themselves look more stupid.
Yeah.
That they've had a photographer take the photo. It's, in fact, I don't even think the photo. I think they stole somebody else's photo, didn't they? Because I think the photographer came out and was like, I didn't actually ever agree for them to use my photo.
Oh, really?
Because I think it was I think originally the photo was two ballerinas back to back, and they
okay.
cropped it, and that's why it's got like a weird crop on it where it's like right along her back, and like someone else's picture, and then slapped some text on it, and everyone was like, but still, someone's put the text on it, so you still designed something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't think about that, do they? No.
I just think this is something that, like, I'm going to look into in my book. That people just started making like memes out of it, and like, I just think it's so funny because people like could have, like, obviously people had a really negative reaction to it, but at the same time they were like, well, how would you like it if we did it to you, and just like did it back. And I think it just industry that, like, we're not just going to let you like speak about us in a bad light.
No, I think what we did, we got Boris. I got my friend to draw Boris in a pair of ballerina shoes. We put "Don't Retrain Fatima" on it, because we were like, we might as well take the mick, because there's also that you have to find the humor in it, because it's hilarious that like someone even thinks that's acceptable. So that's a good thing about our community and our industry as well, that we can make a bad thing into a creatively funny thing, like you said, like through the memes. Yeah,
definitely. And my final question is, do you have any other thoughts on the underfunding of arts throughout school and just society in general, and how it's been treated during the pandemic. Any final thoughts?
It's it just it's hard because it should never have been forgotten about. So I just think someone needs to wake the hell up and realize that whether you're going to try and take this away, we're still going to fight, and we're going to make more noise about it. So just listen to us and help us, and then you'll realize that it'll become like you said before, tourism is a great thing for us, and a lot of people do come and see the shows in London. It's a big thing. That it's a what's the word I'm looking for? What's the thing you go and do? It's the thing you go and do when you come to London. You're like, let's go to the West End. Yeah. So an attraction. It's an attraction in the West, like for London. So yeah, to just wake up and literally just stop being stubborn and just listen to us. Yeah, that's the only thing I can say, because it's so hard. Like it's happened and it's happening, and how like I follow We Make events, and they're great. They're doing all sorts, and I've done 2 things for them. So I'm just a bit like, can someone just listen? Yeah, it's really hard. It's just I'm like eye rolling, because I'm like, I'm so like, why is someone just taking the time to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing it off? Like, it's one of those things. It's like we all do it, don't we? We're all like, oh, I'll leave that email just for a couple more days. I'll get back to it soon. It's like, oh, it's just gonna take time for someone to like, okay, to it.
Definitely. And I hope that when sort of everything opens up, we make more money than we've ever made them, and they turn around and go,
yes, I love that, absolutely.
Like, and then we'll be like, yeah, and that's like, and you didn't want to help us, look how much money like we've made you. It's not going to be shopping, it's not food. It's going to be like, look at the festivals. Half of them have already sold out, and like at the moment they're working off the hope that they do open things up in June. So it's like they've sold out. Like I think it was Boomtown's already sold out, and so is Reading and Leeds. So it's like everyone's just booking anything they can get at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure once they start to open up theatres and stuff like that, that they'll go as well, and they'll just bounce back. And
Will we get a sorry? Will we get a thank you? Absolutely not.
And then if it ever happens again, it'll be the exact same excuse.
Oh, it will. But let's fingers crossed it won't.
Hopefully not. I don't know if I've got it.
No, me neither.
Enough for a lifetime.
Absolutely. That was it. No more.
Well, thank you for asking my questions.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me share my story and my opinions.